funny enough, I was having this debate with a couple of my teammates. I think it's like, what was it, 2 days ago, and we are just talking about who do I think is the best right back in the world. And I said, for me, Wan-Bissaka is the best right back in the world.
Yeah.
Because even though he's not the best going forward, he's not going to concede your goal defensively. And that's me as a player. I'd prefer my player to be solid in the back than to be amazing going forward.
Yes, sir. I'm your host, Leroy, and welcome back to The Insight. But before we start, could you make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for any new content that will be coming your way very soon. But without further ado, enjoy the pod.
Ladies and gentlemen, today on The Insight, we've got Peter. How you doing, man?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. Right now, I'm just trying to concentrate on this tough period of football that's hitting us. But yeah, I'm doing good.
For sure. Let's take it back a little. How were you doing during quarantine, fam? At the beginning, before football was back.
Obviously during quarantine, it was a thing of because at the time I was at Luton, so we always knew that the season was going to come back, so it was never going to be cancelled. So I had to make sure that I was keeping fit during that time as well. So I was still doing the work that they told us to do, that they gave us to do. So I was just doing that non-stop. So for me, it was that the routine was to wake up every day, do a bit of work, then just chill for the rest of the day. But obviously, it's a lot different to everything because in terms of chilling, it's just in the house. You can't really do anything else. If you get what I mean?
No, I hear that. Let's read it back. How did you start football? Like, where were you? How did it all begin?
I started when I think I was like 7 or 8 back in Ireland. I was born in Ireland, playing football in Ireland. Even before 7, I think it was even like maybe even like a 5 or something like that, even that early. But it's like yes, just was playing from then. To be fair, back then I used to be a striker.
Swear.
I was known for my goal scoring. I was really, to be fair, like back then I was very good up front. But I think that's just because of who I was playing against. So then obviously, yeah, started there, played football there, done quite well, won a couple of medals and things like that, and trophies for that age group that I was playing in. But then, I think for me it was more of a thing of I knew that I'll get more opportunities here in England in terms of football. So obviously moving over here, and then yeah, ended up just going from there.
So did you go straight from Ireland straight to Milton Keynes?
Yeah, straight from Ireland straight to Milton Keynes. Been in Milton Keynes since I've moved over to England.
Okay, cool. So when you got to MK, who were you playing for? Like starting up.
So obviously I got to MK. As soon as I got to MK, I went on trial to MK Dons, and I didn't get in. And then when I didn't get in, I remember I was playing for Great Linford, their Sunday League team. I was playing for them for a while. Then I ended up going to Watford. Played for Watford. When I played for Watford, because I went on trial with Watford, I ended up getting signed. And I don't think I'd done like 2 years in Watford. After I'd done 2 years in Watford, MK Dons told me that they wanted me to come back and they were going to sign me permanently. So ended up doing 3 years, so under 16s and scholar at MK Dons. Didn't get a pro. So after I didn't get a pro, I ended up doing a year at Dunstable. After a year at Dunstable, I've done a year and a half at Hartlepool, and then now I'm at Luton.
Okay, so talk us through your time at MK Dons. How was it?
Um, Obviously, it was interesting for me. Obviously, I was playing with most of my friends then, so obviously that was good. But in terms of football, they were. I don't obviously I don't watch MK Dons that much now. Obviously, I still have a couple of friends that play there, but I don't know in terms of their playing style and things like that. I don't know how it is now, but they were known for playing out from the back, keeping the ball and the possession side of things. You know what I mean? At no cost should you kick them. At no way should you beat the ball up the pitch or things like that. So it was quite good to have had that in me from a young age, just to help you in the footballing side of football of things.
Okay, cool. Like, because I played for Luton, like all the way through youth and whatnot. So whenever we played MK, I remember the first time it was like, right, like these men are just, regardless if there's a mistake, you men are gonna carry on doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
But that's exactly what they were telling you to do. They were like, regardless, like make sure you're playing at the back, playing at the back, playing at the back.
That's the thing. Yeah, we were taught to do that, so we have to keep doing it. Like, even if we gave away two, three goals because of it, we have to keep doing it. But then at the exact same time, like, of course, it is frustrating because there was games that we would lose based on the fact that we're doing that. But then at the same time, when it works, it works. So it is a thing of, as I said, that helped me as a player to learn the footballing side of things.
That's good. So when did you get your scholar then?
Ended up doing under 16s. I'd done a year in MK Dons. So when I came back, I'd done the under 16s. After I'd done under 16s, I ended up getting the scholar at the end of under 16s. So I'd done 2 years. But I think midway during the second year, I didn't get offered a pro.
So what did they tell you earlier, or was that like they told everyone at the same time?
Now they told everyone at the same time, but you know as a player, you know yourself like how it is, and I knew the right backs ahead of me at the time were George Baldock and Callum Britton. So I was like, Callum Britton now was at Barnsley and George Baldock at Sheffield United. So I knew that I wasn't going to get an opportunity as a right back. Obviously, back then I'm a lot different player now, but back then I wasn't as mature of a player I am now. So it was always going to be that much harder.
So how did you take being released? Because I was having this conversation with one of my friends the other day, and I was saying when players get released, they don't get as much help as the club may say they do, or how it should be, if you know what I'm saying.
No, yeah, obviously it hurt. It hurt. Getting released, especially as a young kid, it hurt. I think the thing I noticed most, especially when you get released, is it's a thing of self-doubt. That's what you have in yourself, of maybe I'm not good enough and things like that. And obviously, I'm not gonna lie, it did hurt. I was quite young then as well. It did hurt, but it's like, what can I do? Because of the fact that I knew what was gonna happen before I was actually told it. I kind of prepared myself anyway. But even though when they told me, it still did hurt. Like it wasn't something you want to hear.
Okay. So what was your mentality after that? Was it I'm gonna carry on going, or I want to?
No, obviously, don't get me wrong. I had thoughts about stopping. Of course, I had thoughts about stopping. Because I was just like, at that time, I think I so as soon as that season was done, I think it was like I knew that I'd have to go on trials. But as a footballer, like, you know yourself, you don't want to go on trials, even if it's there. Like the trials, like it's a hit and miss. Like at the end of the day, and as you know, in football, it's all about opinions. Like you could be a great player, and then you go on trial, and because that gaffer doesn't like the way that you take a first touch, or he doesn't like the way that you position yourself in certain times of the pit of the game, like then he'll turn around and be like, "Nah, I don't like him." So in terms of that, like it was hard for me to comprehend how that I'd go from playing, knowing that I'm signed, to now I have to go on trial and prove myself. So that was quite hard.
How did you deal with that then? Like, who helped you? Was it you just were like, kind of, let me just get it done?
No, I think in terms of that, I think it's obviously, as I said, I prepped myself mentally, knowing that basically every game that I was playing on trial, every training session might be my last. So just doing as hard as possible. Obviously, I can't lie. My dad helped me a lot during the process as well. Still helps me till now.
Yeah,
We speak a lot in terms of about football, about what's going on, and he's basically another coach to me. Like we speak about everything. So yeah, my dad helped me a lot during the period, and yeah, I think obviously as I said, my mentality was just on a thing of just play as best as you can. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But you need to make sure you give it all.
yeah, for sure. So let's talk Dunstable. How did that come about? Was that the only place you went to, or?
Nah, so initially before Dunstable, I went to QPR Bournemouth on trial, and I didn't get in on both of them. And then obviously that's when me and my dad sat down and we were like, obviously at the time, the agent that I had at the time, he was like, he had a few more trials lined up. But then in my head, I was like, look, I don't want to keep getting told no. Like, as you know, like as a footballer, as I said to you before, when you're getting told no and you're receiving negative responses, you doubt yourself as a player. And once he gets to a point of you doubt yourself enough to think that you're never going to be good enough, that's when there's no point of playing because your confidence is never going to be there. So obviously in that moment, I think that was a time when me and my dad just sat down together and we said, what could we do? And luckily for me, Gideon, my older brother, he was playing at Dunstable at the time. And I said to him one time, I was like, look, let me just, because at the time I didn't have a team, I was like, let me just come in and train one time. So I went in and trained. And then the manager was trying to get Gids to get me to sign like on a slide. And obviously Gids brought it up to me. He was like, look, it's up to you. I'm not saying you should do it, but it is up to you if you want to do it. And obviously I spoke to my dad and I was like, look, it doesn't sound pleasing. It wasn't really pleasing to have had to drop that low. But when I look back on my career and like even now, even though I have a long way to go, when I look back on it, it was a big factor of who I am today.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think hindsight is always a good thing. But that gray area between getting released and then your next step is always one that's very hard for us players, as you may know, or as you've experienced, and I've experienced myself. So how did, once you started getting in the flow of Dunstable, how were you dealing with the non-league life? Because I'm sure the way that they were playing football wasn't the way you're used to MK Dons.
No, everything was completely different. I remember I think me and my dad were having this conversation like sometime this week, and I said to him that the thing, as I said to you, that the reason why I take that as such a big factor of who I am today as a player and like why I played such a big impact is because for me, I didn't, especially in non-league as a right back, it's rare that you have a chance to attack.
Yeah.
You don't really attack. So there it was more of a thing of I'm learning how to defend. So I'm playing against, like, I was at the time, what was I? I think I was 17. I was 16, 17 at the time. And I'm playing against men that are like 30, 32. And I need to, as a right back, I need to know, okay, at the time I was at 5'9", 5'10". So I'm like, okay, how do I win a header against someone that's 6'2"? Or how do I win a header against someone that's 6'3"? Or how do I play against someone that's not quick, but he's very skillful? How do I play against someone that's not skillful, but he's very quick? And then like things like that is where you learn. That's what I learned, especially in playing for Dunstable, like the defensive side of being a right back. Because I've always said at the attacking side, you can always learn. You can always learn how to attack, but I don't think you can learn how to defend.
Yeah, defending's is a different thing. I think not many fullbacks. I think football nowadays is like it's a lot of attacking based. Everyone's looking for the attacking of someone, and it overshadows their defending until their attacking is not doing as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. I think like funny enough, I was having this debate with a couple of my teammates. I think it's like, what was it, 2 days ago, and we were just talking about who do I think is the best right back in the world. And I said, for me, Wan-Bissaka is the best right back in the world. Because
Yeah.
even though he's not the best going forward, he's not going to concede your goal defensively. And that's me as a player. I'd prefer my player to be solid in the back than to be amazing going forward. Especially if you're gonna play a four in the back. Obviously, you have different managers that play different systems, which the right back has to attack more, the left back has to attack more. But when I look at someone as like as I said, Wan-Bissaka could learn how to attack.
Yeah.
Like it's like you can always learn that. It might take a while, but you can learn that. But to defend how he defends, I don't think you can learn that. See, you have it, you don't.
Yeah, because obviously, as everyone can see, not men. I don't think you can have a conversation where you be like, "Oh yeah, Wan-Bissaka got stripped today." Like you don't hear about him getting beat loads of times.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he's solid. He's solid like defensively. But as I said, going forward, don't get me wrong, he's not the best. But you know what you're gonna get from him defensively. So now it's a thing of you as a player, you as a fan, or you as a coach. Would you rather your player be rubbish defending as a defender, or would you rather him be great attacking? But like, I don't get it. Like for me, I've always said I'd prefer a great defender than a great attacker, because the word that's in the name is defender. You defend your goal.
Yeah.
So once you defend your goal, then anything else is a plus.
Okay, so coming back to you, is that someone who you try look at his game and try dissect?
I wouldn't say dissect, but yeah, I would say yeah. Like it's a thing of obviously I look at him and I look at how he defends 1v1. I think defending has a lot to do with patience, and has a lot to do with how you use your body as well. Because as I said, like it has a lot to do. It's more than just watch the ball and things like that. Because like you could watch the ball and you could still get done by speed. You know what I mean? You could watch the ball and someone could do a step up and kick the ball and run, and you're not catching it. But then obviously in them certain situations, as I said to you, I know. That's why, as I said, Dunstable, he taught me a lot about things like this. Like week in, week out, playing against different types of players. If I know that I'm playing against a quick player and he's gonna kick the ball, how do I stop him getting a run on me if I'm not faster than him? I have to put my hands up. I need to put my arm up as he's running before he runs, so that I stop his run, so I can get a head start. You know, just little things like that. And obviously in Wan-Bissaka, I think that's what you notice a lot about him, is that when someone pushes it, he gets his body in the way straight away. He uses his body a lot, which makes it harder for the attacker. What else is there? Of course, you know yourself, the match day toilets. You know, you have to. Yeah, every footballer does it. Like I haven't met.
Do you do it in the change room, or do you do it at the hotel, fam?
No, okay, so I'll do it. I always do it. So I'll do it as before I have a shower in the morning. So that's the one in the house. And then when I go to the change room, I do one like. So what I'll do is I'll get changed. Then after I get changed, I'll go to the toilet. And then I'll come back and I'll relax. And then that's it, just the two.